Here we go. The Other Side of the Hill just came in. This is the Kickstarter edition from NAC Games, and it is designed by Carlos Marquez. Art design is by Rodolfo Serra. Lots of folks mentioned on the box spot edge here as supporting work. The back sets up a bit of an exclamation here. Recreate the course of the war year after year. Decisions will determine victory or defeat. So, The Other Side of the Hill is a board game simulating the struggle for power within the German High Command during the Second World War. Up to 4 players represent military leaders cooperating and competing as they manage Germany's wartime strategy. To win, they vie for prestige by advancing careers of their chosen army and army group commanders, by grabbing their share of victories. While the early war pickings are easy, and they avoid responsibility for battlefield disasters as the Soviets and the Western Allies push back. You know, this has like an interesting feel to me of Churchill, but at a different level, of course. I'm not sure I would say the game is, of course, pitching, ooh, we honor the Nazi war effort. More so, you might get like an intricate and intriguing series of lessons on prosecuting a war effort under, good and bad times. And you have these fascinating personalities that are caught in the midst of this radical, catastrophic unfolding war. I mean, honestly, a horrific thing. I'll say, I wonder how people are going to react to this. What's a good modern equivalent, like saying something like, oh, think of some evil regime and go in there and, behave as the various political entities and military entities in an evil regime. So Kremlin comes to mind. Now that one's kind of a lighthearted game, vying for power inside the Kremlin. So this kind of approach to a game it's been done. Here you got a little bit of an intricacy and a darkness to things. It has some game modes, right? Competitive, where one player wins. It has a cooperative mode, where if Germany collapses, then all the players lose. Semi-co-op is when there's one winner, but Germany has to survive. And then you have a solitaire mode, and you're alone against the odds. And then a whole series of scenarios. Very interesting, right? So you have, Triumph of Blitzkrieg, the early phase there, right? So then early, second element of the early war, the world hold its breath. Then point of no return, you turn the corner towards almost like way beyond total war. Festung Europa, hunkering down phase there, preparing for the onslaught from the enemy. Then the decline of the Third Reich. And then here we go, total war, running 42 to 45. And then the World War, 8 to 10 hours, right? 41 to 45. And then Armageddon version of the war, the whole shebang. Makes me think, okay, this is ripe for a full day at a convention. Difficulty 4 in its themes. And of course it does have a solo mode, so that's interesting. Now I have not looked at the interior of this box yet, but let's do that now. Cool little photo, just giving you some, basic details. What is contained here is listed here though. You've got a game board, 4 player boards, comprehensive play aids, a setup aid, 110 wooden pieces, 230 game cards, right? 25 custom-made dice, 250 counters, a rule book for competitive play, a rule book for cooperative solo play, a rule book with scenarios and comprehensive play examples, design notes, and a dice tray. I wonder what this is about, right? Of course, includes all the Kickstarter extras. It does say content may vary. That's fascinating. That's probably, a liability disclaimer. The lawyers always get themselves into the mix of things, don't they? Cool, so here's the other side of the hill. Let's see if I can pop this open. I've got a hand. It's a pretty tight box lid, all right? There we go. All right, this thing is jam-packed. It's pretty heavy. It's a pretty thick box. Check that out. And the box lid is fairly thick as well. Okay. So, all right, card deck, Twilight Generals expansion. Cool, I was just like attracted to this too. It's got a bunch of cards, photograph. Ah, look at this, date. So they're indicating timings, right, for events. It's a thing I'm struggling with in my game about heresies, how to build some events into that. My vision on that is it wasn't really locked in place, so I'm not sure if I want to have, a required sequence, but I might indicate dates. Strategic events, right, so then you have, again, a couple of indicators, what to do, a combat, pawn, prerequisite data. So this is Fallweiss, the, right, invasion of Poland, so Operation White, right, or Case White, we'll call it. Other side of the hill with some signatures. Cool, nice. Oh, it's a little shiny, by the way, okay. All right, what we got here, little tiny cards. The Black Orchestra. Tells you has, the issue of the assassination plots. Yeah, we got production directives, again, years, and then text to tell us what to do. Generals, right? The generals are here. Lots of personalities in that mix, right? All right, there's the stack of cards. Tons of cards. Okay, little wooden markers. They have been stamped or painted, shall we say? They are not. They're not embossed, and they're not stickered. So it's more like an ink, right? Okay, little rods, right? Again with symbols that are on there. Little indicator cubes. Fun. I'll tell you, I'm gonna guess that this stuff right here, I'll bet you this was the most important part of this game. These little, specialty creations here. They're pretty hefty too. These are bigger dice. Whoa, normal dice too in the mix, right? Tons of dice. All right, bunch of baggies for storing items. Nice. There we go. There's the NAC Wargames dice tray. All right, so you can fold up the corners. This might be a Kickstarter item. NAC Wargames. Oh, you win a medal. Look, an Iron Cross for having supported the nefarious, but hopefully eye-opening game about the intrigues of running the military operations and favor, shall we say. All right, here's a rule book. This one's the one for competitive play. Pretty nice in terms of the, nice to have a table of contents. Components that were added due to the stretch goals are listed here, so that's nice. I like the fact that it's large, it's pretty large font. Good graphics, full color. All right, description of all the markers. Very cool. Lots of white space, so it's attractive in terms of readability. This is 20, keep going. 30. This probably leads us to the higher complexity number, of course. All right, look, a little advertising. Awesome. Index. A little bit of artwork, yeah. Thematic stuff is cool. So 34 and a half pages. This here's like a credits column. So there we go, 34.5 inch of competitive play rules. Okay, next in the box was this playbook. All right, so here we got a series of scenarios and playing variants. There's a little place where they've indicated rules that are easily forgotten. That's handy. Kickstarter editions, the following scenarios are included thanks to support received in the Kickstarter. So this is the Triumph of Blitzkrieg, the World Hold Its Breath, Point of No Return, Festum Europa. It gives you a little setup directions, how the scenarios get put in place. Again, bolded text, sometimes major sections highlighted. That's very nice. Nice big font, lots of white space. Good graphic design, I'd say. All right, there we go. Lots of excellent imagery for helping us navigate things, right? And so the scenarios book, or so let's call this the playbook. Interesting. You have this section here, design notes. So really the playbook runs about 22.5 pages. Historical sequence of cards list, that's very good to have. Oh, a campaign module generator, very cool. So there's that. Next book. Okay, solitaire and competitive play. Let's run to the number of pages again. Woohoo! So this one, of course, very similar graphic design. This one looks like it's running 33.5 pages. You know, it's 2-column, large font, lots of white space. It doesn't feel like walls of text. It's very readable. I'll bet you this is, to me, it's more like 20 pages of a GMT rulebook. Even inclusive of pretty nice graphics throughout, right? Lots of examples. The yellow are the examples. Cool. I have a friend who's probably gonna just really eat this game up and be like so enjoy it so much. Little advertising. I do not think I have any of the other NAC war games. If anybody in the comments would let me know among these which one is the one that you think is their best, I would love to dive into another one because I'm really liking at least the design so far, right? Okay, cool. So we got now, all right, this looks like a sequence of play card, a bunch of notes on how to do various things. Agenda, so that's agenda cards. A second one of these, right? A third one, and a fourth one, right? That's so that every player can easily access information. And they're pretty hefty. Not quite, you know, like a stiff poster, but thicker and folded nicely. You know, we got a setup table for each of the scenario years. It's running C39, 41, 42, 43, and you have so a particular column, flip it over so you can continue the 1939, you know, run from the first page in 41 through to the second for the rest of 41, that kind of stuff. Okay, and then awesome, just a big pile of counters. All right, so this is 7 counter sheets of similar size, little tape holder. Get that off. And right, punchable. There is a top and bottom nib, but they look very tiny. So once these are punched, they'll probably look amazing. Okay, and let's see something that says the other side of the hill, punch board 1 of 3 front, 2 of 3 for the punch board. All right, 3 of 3. Active player marker, you know, see a general's baton, right. We have these rolls. They are little standees, it looks like. All right, and then what we got here? So this is a series of boards. Okay, so these are the player boards. And they were wrapped with the punch boards, we'll call it, similar size. Probably for efficiency in terms of cardboard operations and printing and such. Yeah, so each player is marked here, like here's player 2, player 3, right? And player 4. They're all the same board in terms of the high command place, the agenda item that you have, generals that are active and available, and so on. Next up, of course, the last item in the box is the map. So let's check this out. Ooh, interesting. So a bit of the, interesting thing to do here, graphics, is to take really what's a blank bottom and put something interesting on it. See, like this, that's just the other part there. All right, it's pretty hefty, it's pretty well done. Thick, looks like its seams are pretty solid. There we are, opened even further. Lots of interesting things going on. Oh, fascinating. My favorite part of World War II is probably Normandy, but my second favorite, I don't know, let's call this a tie, is the North Africa theater. Casablanca, Algiers, Tunis. And over here, of course, Tripoli, Algalia, and Tobruk, and then Alamein, Cairo, Suez. So fascinating. Over here, some tracks. Let's open this up even more. I'm losing table space at the moment, so this is going to look a little wonky for a second. Hold on. Let's move things. Try to pop it out. Okay, it's a pretty stiff map right now. Very cool. It's got a ton of stuff all over the place. Will it be generate utility in play? We'll just have to wait and see. So you have a time passing up here. You have sequence of play info up here, some marker tracking, resources here, development. Okay, so project development there. Level of fanaticism. Here's a force pool. Including, of course, awesome paratroopers. Commitment tracks from the U.S. and from the USSR. And then this looks like just different locations for the European theater, East and West and North Africa. So, wow, really cool. Everything is big and looks fairly obvious. There's a little indicator of things here in terms of what the sectors are all about. Plains, rough, and river. We're also looking at fortresses and festoons. Landing threat areas. I wonder if part of the game's narrative is just the utter complexity of trying to manage what had unfolded in this war, in terms of the hubris of trying to prosecute this conflict and win it. I don't know. So I'll try to put this stuff back generally. In terms of how I might store this, the bags are cool, but I don't know. I might use a counter tray. We'll see how that goes. And yeah, I wonder what I could get next from these guys. I'm kind of interested in this, the War of the Triple Alliance. Von Manstein's Triumph. That's of course something that's been heavily done. So I wonder how it would rank in comparison to other attempts at handling von Manstein. I wonder if that's the backhand blow. I don't know. Or is it France? Okay. I don't know if I want to open cards right now, but wow, tons of cards. Then we have all our fun bits. These different markers, Kickstarter items. I think the really important Kickstarter edition was the creation of the other scenarios, because these bits here are, you know, pretty simple elements to add. Though I'll say this, I think that dice, those are the major cost in this game for sure. So there it is, the other side of the hill. What else am I looking forward to? I think Cave Evil comes within the next few days as well. The new edition of Cave Evil was kickstarted, I don't know, last year. I'm also waiting on Conan from Monolith, and I haven't seen that get pinged for me yet either. But there it is, the other side of the hill. What is over on that side of the hill? Well, generals trying to manage complex operations all across Europe. All right, everybody. Hope you are well. Enjoy.